In this week's episode, we find out what made Chris say this.
This just might be the most informative and dynamic podcast session we've done. We are back. You have tuned it back in. This is Lot Talk, powered by Lot Pop. I'm Chris Keene, one of the co-hosts, and I'm joined by, we're going to go with the esteemed Mr. John Peepaw Anderson, and the all-knowing, all-being, all-well, fresh-shaved, looking 30 years younger, ready to strap it back on and hit it for the Red Raiders, Mr. Ronaldo Leonard. Gentlemen, good morning, good morning, good morning. How the hell we doing?
Good morning. Doing great.
Yeah, good morning.
If I was any
I'm doing better than I deserve.
John, if there was two Peepaws running around, okay, first
It'd be
off,
bad, man. It'd be bad. It'd be
Nah,
bad.
the world would be a better place.
I appreciate that,
Opinion-
Ronaldo. Appreciate the love, brother.
opinions
sure.
vary. Okay.
For sure.
Oh man, could you imagine if we had two curmudgeons? Oh,
Hey, man, I'm
Hey,
telling you.
listen, I have to say something because I tuned in backstage earlier and I got on and I heard Mr. Brett say that he's learning from me because he's becoming a curmudgeon as he ages, right? So somebody is listening to me, even though you don't think so, Chris. Somebody is listening to me.
John, I don't know if I'd be proud of that. So, but Ronaldo, we went on a social media rant last week, and
You speaking French now all of a sudden?
That's what I'm saying, man. When he brings up a rant, he brings up we, Ronaldo. What is that about, right?
You got a mouse in your pocket?
maybe so. Hey,
Yeah.
don't make me hit the playback because y'all was just as much on fire as I was about it. Okay,
Yes, you're correct.
but we are the jacks of all trades, the master of none. So that's why this week we bring in the guru in. Listeners and viewers, I know I say this every week, but get your pen out, get your paper out, get your digital note taker out. You better hit play. You better listen up. You better share this. You better watch it again because we have about to come on stage, arguably the most insightful social media expert in our industry today, and she is going to drop some serious heat today and get your thought wheels going. So this is why I'm telling you, you better get your pen out, you better get your note taker rolling, because she's going to drop you some nuggets today in the spirit of why we have Lot Talk, giving back to this community that has been not only great to John, Ronaldo, myself, our family at Lot Pop, but even this individual. I want to bring her on stage now.
True influencer,
She
an
is
influencer.
one of the most exquisite individuals I've ever met. Brett, let's bring her on stage. We have got Miss Robin Wilson from Social Grenade. She is here. She's in the house. Let's get it going today.
Hello. I'm so glad to hang out with my friends always.
Oh, Robin, we love hanging out with you. We love hanging out with you because every single time I feel like I'm worth a little bit more because of the knowledge that I just absolutely force you to give me, because I won't leave you alone until you give me something.
And I'll tell you guys, I have mine too. So like, it ain't just like, I take notes too. I mean, there's stuff, I don't know if you guys know, but when you start talking, like you start getting ideas too. And if you don't capture them yourself, like you got to stop. I think I've been to your offices a couple of times, more than that, in Kansas City. And I was telling Chris yesterday, some of the business practices that we have in Social Grenade, I stole from Lot Walk. Literally stole from them and went, that's a great idea. We've got to figure out how to implement that over here. So there's never a time when we don't all learn from each other.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
If I could learn how to be kinder like Peepaw, that would be good.
Was that supposed to be
We
like
need
an
to put-
oxymoron?
I'm going to tell you, John, this is awesome. So my oldest grandchild turns 20 this year. And when she was little, she called me G Robbie. Like I felt like I was a gangster or something, like I was a rapper. I was G Robbie. And so it's kind of stuck through all of the grandkids
Yeah.
except for like my youngest one now who'll turn 4 in June, and he's like, "I'm G Rob." I got shortened to G Rob, which is cool. So
Hey, listen, Robin, I understand completely. I wear a peepaw as a badge of honor because my oldest grandson is 17, Hayden, and he still addresses me. Matter of fact, there were some bad storms going through Indiana last night, and I got on radar and I was watching a guy on YouTube I like to watch because he's ahead of the National Weather Service when he releases warnings, and there was a tornado on the ground headed right for my grandsons, and I was like, "Hey guys, are you guys safe?" And they were like, "Yeah, people, we're safe. We love it. We appreciate you looking out for us." So yeah, I wear that as a badge of honor. Definitely.
same.
Good stuff.
I love
Good
it.
stuff.
So with that being said, G Rob and Peepaw, so I like the G Robs. I mean, guess what?
I do
You're
too. I
never
like
gonna
that
be
a
any-
lot, man. That's
you're
cool,
never
man.
gonna be anything but. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna change my phone to G Rob. You're gonna be G Rob now. So I love it. I absolutely love it. So last week, Robin, literally in the middle of us doing the podcast last week, I'm texting you, "Hey, Robin, can you jump on our podcast next week?" And guys immediately, which is no surprise, and this is why we are so honored and grateful to have you as an expert that is fighting this same good fight with us, as a comrade with us out here in this battlefield. But with no surprise, Ronaldo, she just sat there. I think instantly, yes, would love to. I mean, I was just blown away, and because I know how busy you are, Robin, and from the bottom of our hearts, we just completely thank you for joining us today. But in the spirit of that social media, I mean, let's dive into it because you are just such a wealth of knowledge. Let's dive into it. Last week we were talking about some broadcasts that we had in the weeks prior about third party, about AEO, about GEO, and then we started talking about where social media fits into this and how impactful social media is becoming. And really, I shouldn't say is becoming. It has been extremely impactful, but it's been underutilized in our industry. And I just want to go ahead and throw this grenade. And yes, that is a plug for Social Grenade, your company. But I want to throw this grenade out there. And I shared this with you the other day when you and I were on a call. The social media post listeners and viewers, hear me close. And Robin gonna back it up today with some data. But the social media post of, "Hey, thanks, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, for buying your new vehicle from me," and the picture of them standing in front of the dealership with their new car. Tired, outdated, old, gives you no traction. No meaningful traction, I should say. Robin, give us, give our listeners and viewers why that has no traction, or I should say meaningful traction in today's time.
Well, for one, every dealer's doing the exact same thing, right? And they think it's like social proof. Look, we've been successful. We sold a car. These people look nice, don't they? Well, first of all, if you want them to look nice, don't wait until after they come out of finance and have been beat to death in there. Like, take the picture in the 4 hours while you're waiting to get in there before they're freaking exhausted, and go, "Do you mind if I take your guys' picture right now?" And they're happy because they don't know they're getting ready to get bumped, $180 because that's going to happen. So get them before they look like they're being held hostage by Al Qaeda. I swear we're good. That would be my first thing. If you're going to do them. That's fantastic. But I wouldn't post them as a post. Customer sold photos really should be. If your dealership's not aren't selling enough vehicles for them to just go to stories, because stories only live for 24 hours, right? They don't block up your news feed. They don't junk up my algorithm. They don't pull into my feed. So stories, I mean, sold is good. I mean, they're okay, right? But you guys, first of all, are doing the same thing everybody else is doing, and you're getting no traction because of that. It's white noise. It's just white noise. And unless people know these people, it doesn't really matter. It's not going anywhere. And you can check your views, and that's the Bible. Check your algorithm or check your insights, and you'll know Nobody is slowing down to look at these photos because they don't give a crap about Emma and Bobby Joe. We don't give a crap that they bought, a Nissan Altima. Nobody cares. So it's social proof for your dealership, but don't clog up my newsfeed with it. Put it into stories. Use it there if you must, if you insist on putting those out there. As a dealership, I would probably save them all week long and make a reel out of them or something. And it's easier to consume that, and it'll get your video views up higher. But I wouldn't, if you're think about that dealership that's selling 200 cars a month, and we only have 30 days in the month. So how many sold images are you putting into my news feed of this crap that I don't care about? I mean, honest to God, as the buyer of the car, I don't even care about it. As the one who got their picture taken, I don't even care about it. And so I'm expecting other people to care about the fact that people bought a car. It's a waste of space, and it doesn't do anything to build trust other than you sold a car to somebody. And we know you can do that. You're a freaking car dealership. So
Or
I mean,
you're supposed
I'm out on
Well,
it.
hold on, Robin. We assume you can do that.
Well, it is an assumption.
So I want to back up there to, you sat there and said, you talked about the algorithm, and just go look at your algorithm. I mean, it's not yielding you what your expectations are. I mean, how do dealers do that?
Well, most dealers won't do it because they don't know how. No offense to any of you that may have your finger on the pulse of social, but in their insights, and they go to their content, and they can look down at their content and go, what performed and what didn't? And it's no different than you have 20 salespeople, right? And you go, that one's not covering his desk. That one's not covering his desk. That one's covering his desk. This one right here is killing his desk. He's covering these 3 desks. If you're not looking at your content with the same way you look at your salespeople, whether it's covering or it's not, if you got a post out there that had 3 views, that had 0 engagement on it, and one below it had 690 views and 25, 30 engagement on it, Facebook's telling you, do more of this. Instagram's telling you, do more of this. And so why are you feeding the salespeople that aren't covering their desk? Why are you giving them all the good stuff that aren't even covering their desk? And that's what's happening with those social media posts. They're just like those lame duck salespeople that aren't performing. That post is not performing. Stop doing it, or do it differently. If it's so important to you, do it differently. I had a dealership that I worked with for over 10 years doing their social, and they were adamant that they wanted every employee's birthday photo and their anniversaries posted in the social media feed. And I'm like, dude, you have 180 employees.
Shit.
Like, and some of them, all 30 of them will have a birthday on the same freaking week. And I'm like, no, nobody wants that in their news feed. So you're honoring them for what? So I finally told them, like, can we move it to stories? Because it's only their birthday one day. It's only their anniversary one day. Can we move it into stories? And then by the time people see it, like, that day is gone, the next day is whatever, and it's not clogging up the news feed. And he was like, no, we want it on the page. I'm like, okay. When your numbers go down, it'll be because of this. I just want you to know that.
It's funny that, the appeal of social media as individuals is just that public affirmation and that immediate feedback that what we're throwing out there is being received. But dealerships don't catch on to that and aren't really putting content out there to get that positive response back.
Right.
How do you think that they could initially start on a program that is going to get them the type of results that, social media could be that effective in generating for?
Well, you have to start with the pain point, right? So buying a car is one of the most painful things on earth. I have 5 kids. I'd rather do that again. Swear to God. Oh, unmedicated, seriously, would rather do that again. Buying a car, I always have to psych myself up for it. Like, I have to do this thing. My lease is coming up. Oh my God, I got to do this thing. And so,
and you're in the industry.
But they're both 9-month processes, though.
Buying my last vehicle was so horrible. If I weren't I videoed it. I videoed the engagement that I was having with the dealership. So I was on a special lookout. I had a special vehicle I was looking for. I wanted a 2014 Toyota FJ Cruiser, and I wanted it to be under 100,000 miles. I was very specific in what I wanted, like, seriously. So it wasn't like I could just go to my local dealership here and buy it, or go to a trusted dealership and buy it. I had to scour the nation and find it, and then go, okay, great. It just so happened that I was at their sister store doing some training, and it was at the store 2 hours away that this group owned. And so I did the right process. I put the lead in. I answered the call when the BDR called me. I got handed off to a salesperson. I gave him all of my information. I acted like a human. I didn't act like I know what I'm doing, right? I'm like, I even told them, this is what I do. I'm working with your store over here in XYZ city. And if I get time, I'm going to come over and take a look at it. And I'm not going to bore you guys with the whole details of it, but even knowing that I was in the industry, even knowing that had a relationship with their sister store, it was so horrible that at part of it, I was literally videoing it. And I posted it on TikTok for a minute, and then I was like, you can't do this. You're in the industry. You're a vendor in the industry. Take it down. And so I felt bad that I took it back down again because it was that bad that people were calling me going, holy crap, I cannot believe he did that. And so it's always horrible for me. It's never been good. And so I think about social media from that standpoint and go, okay, what are the pain points that people are enduring when they go to buy a car? And we know the typical ones, well, first of all, I love the behind the scenes at the towers right now on social media. Those are great. And I'll tell you why, because as a consumer who's never worked in a dealership, if you haven't, you don't know what they're talking about up there. And you think they're just up there conspiring against you. The guy has to go up there, take his piece of paper up there, show it to the guy at the tall tower thingy. And then they come back because this guy that I'm talking to obviously doesn't have the power to say yes or no to anything. And then what are they talking about me? They're talking about my credit. Or are they talking about my payment, how much they want me to pay? You don't know. And so if you take about all of the unknowns and the painful parts of buying a car, and then you shine a light on them and go, this is what happens here. This is what we do here. And social media should tell the story behind what it's like truly to buy a car and what things that you struggle with as a dealership as well for them and what things you're working on getting better. But like if you knew how many people don't know what gap insurance is about, right? But go to any dealership's page right now, I challenge you, and find me a post that explains gap insurance to anybody. It's not out there. I mean, if they are, it's rare, but they don't talk about the things and people don't even know what it covers. I had one of my employees in my BDC was talking on the phone. She was setting an appointment and she put him on hold. She goes, so they're asking about gap insurance. Now, is that the insurance that people pay so that whenever they get pregnant and go on maternity leave, it'll still cover their car payment? And I'm like, what? I mean, that doesn't exist. Maybe it should, but that doesn't exist. And I was just like, and so when I realized how little people know about the things that we just assume, we just assume they know. And so social media should be talking about the pain points, because if you're educating somebody and the other dealership isn't, then you are miles ahead of them. If you're entertaining them, that's all well and good too. But really, they just want to know when they walk in that they believe you and they trust you, because they went home and told their husband, did you know we're supposed to rotate our tires every 7,500 miles? And he's like, no, well, I learned it on Facebook today. A blah, blah, blah dealership was telling us that. Is that the truth? Why isn't our dealership asking me to rotate my tires when I get my oil changed? So the things that you can do to educate that are just common sense. They're common sense to us, but they're not common sense to the public. So that's where they should be starting right there, is removing those pain points for the customer, the things that we assume everybody knows, but they don't.
Great stuff.
That is
Great stuff.
definitely. I don't think we're gonna have enough time.
I feel G Rob's pain about making purchases from the retail perspective. I feel your pain, girl. It's
but it's
I
everywhere.
I tell myself I'm amazed that we're in 2026 and we're still dealing with the stuff that we've been dealing with for 50 freaking years. I mean, we're our own worst enemy a lot of times in our industry.
True story.
But gosh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris. You're going to say something, because
No,
I
go.
just had
Finish your
45
thought.
thoughts hopping in my head at the same time.
No, go. Finish it.
Well, it's just, and we saw a pretty interesting example from a consumer's point of view on how dealerships are treating people when they come in to purchase a vehicle. And it dawned on me that with the turnover that we often see with salespeople, we've got a new industry every 2 to 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And in your role, what's kind of been the biggest challenge to get that message to resonate with folks that you're coming in contact with on a daily basis at the dealership?
Yeah, and it has to start. So, like for me, if somebody's actually deciding that their dealership needs, please understand, it was 2014 whenever I started working with the dealership on social media. Think about how progressive they were at 2014 to go, we need social media help.
Was that MySpace?
No, it was not. MySpace was already gone by then. And so that was pretty cool and I didn't know it at the time that it was cool. I didn't realize at the time how far behind the automotive industry was on that forefront. And so that was really kind of cool. So we think about the fact that this really has to be a top-down initiative. Like we want our dealership, from the owner to the GM to the GSM to the new car, the pre-owned, fixed ops, we want our store to be a living, breathing social media machine. And we know that if we can do it right, we can spend less on third-party ads. We can spend less on chasing new customers because we'll be retaining ours longer because they're locked in with us. And so it's top down. So you're right, the transient part of the automotive space. And if you log into LinkedIn every month or even on Facebook every month, and you got the new announcement, I'm now at Ray Brown Toyota or wherever they're at, right? Or this GM is now, my new position is blah, blah, blah. They all are changing. So to know the whole transient thing of it and to still stay, what is our policy? And there's some dealerships out there that do not let their salespeople post at all. Like there's a whole organization that their salespeople are not allowed to post to social media at all about what they do or where they do it. And it's in their company guidelines. So I always know whenever we get a demo set with them, I'm going to cancel that demo. They don't have the ability to use Social Grenade. That they can't do it. But if you can start at the top with the head of the beast and go, the head of the beast is bought in and they're going to enforce this all the way down, then you'll have a successful social media outcome, because it's just like if a GM gets behind a BDC. If they believe that the BDC is the most important part of the dealership because that's their front line communicating, then everybody else has to fall in line to that and go, hey, don't mess with the BDC. Don't be arguing with them about whatever. They don't cost you anything. Social media is the same way. They're there to help your position within the community, not within, what does Ford think of me or what does Toyota think of me, but inside of your community. So I live in Joplin, Missouri. So Joplin, Missouri, USA. What do they know about XYZ dealership or the people that work there or their involvement in the community? So, and it doesn't matter what the salespeople come and go. It doesn't matter if 20 come and 20 go. Then the same policies are in effect and the same guidelines are in effect. And there's a social media policy in place. For us, it's a constant ongoing training with the new people that come in, and we bring them back in, we train them what they need to do, and then we send it back out there to build their book of business. But if you don't have it at the top, don't waste your time.
So, John, you threw in our chat here some information that you had pulled up, and I want to give a little nugget here to our listeners and viewers, okay? Looking through that, but before looking through that, I want to share something on the screen because I was glancing through it just a minute ago, but I want to share something here on the screen that I found pretty interesting. And Robin, you and I talked about it briefly a couple days ago. Now, the screen's popping up. Here we go. So looking at the generational age groups in their top social channels. Okay, Gen Alpha, Gen Z, Millennial, Gen X, Baby Boomer, Silent Gen. Okay. And looking here, I also did the research to understand what social platforms that those generations are consuming the most from, which goes back to what you were looking at earlier, John, about inventory showcase posts, social proof, education, behind the scenes type content. Now, thinking about those 4 things I just rattled off. So for the listeners and viewers, if you're taking notes, the inventory showcase posts, social proof and trust builders, education, and behind the scenes. Now, think about the generations in our market that are our consumers and influencers to the consumer. So, because I don't want anybody to skip past this Gen Alpha born between 13 and now, ages 0 to 12 years old. Now, obviously, the 0, 3, 4, 5-year-olds may not be as much influence, but they could be a little. But you start getting into those 10, 11, 12-year-olds and their influence. Now I want you to think about Gen Z, ages 13 to 28. There's only 5 years of that where those people are not consumers in our industry, whether it be fixed operations or sales. Then the millennials, 29 to 44 years old, the Gen X, 45 to 60. And then, of course, the baby boomers at 61 to 79 and the silent gen from ages 80 to 97 years old. Okay. I want y'all to think about this for a minute. And what's on the screen for the viewers, you can see it, but the listeners, I'm going to go through and I'm going to point out one thing that I see that is a constant through the majority of these. Gen Alpha, the number one is YouTube. Gen Z, the number 3 consumed is YouTube. Millennials, the number 3 consumed is YouTube. Gen X, the number 2 consumed is YouTube. Baby boomers, the number 2 consumed is YouTube. Silent Gen, the number 2 consumed is YouTube. Every generation is YouTube. Top 3 social platform. So with that being said, Robin, how beneficial when you think about what John was looking at here, the behind the scenes content, the educational content, the social proof, the inventory showcase, how crucial is it for a dealer, not just sales, but fixed operations as well, to have a robust feed for everything that goes to your website, everything that goes to a third-party site, anything that you're spending SEO, SEM that has a video attached to it? How important is it to make sure that's going to a YouTube channel specific to your dealership?
Okay, so I'm getting ready to go on my own rant, right? So first of all of the social media platforms that dealerships are using right now, probably they're probably not even in the top 3 that they're using YouTube. And I know this because every time we onboard one, nobody knows how to get to it, to log into it, to get access to the YouTube channel. They may have 3 that they've lost all control of, and so nobody is using it. And I'm going to show you your numbers back up what I have to say. What we talked about too is that think about, first of all, number 1, who owns YouTube?
Google.
Google owns YouTube, right? And think about the next thing that's coming, which like nothing on there was about it yet because like it's not really a social media channel yet. But think about the path that we've taken since November 22 on this AI road trip that we've been on. And so we think about the next thing is going to be search within AI. So who is searching? How you're not going to Google anymore. You're going to AI and you're searching, I'm looking for blah, 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 blah. And I just did it for a plastic surgeon. And I literally got the 2 best plastic surgeons in this country, whatever, right? And so now think about, I don't know if you guys know this or not, or if you do, you don't. So Google created Gemini. And Gemini is now incorporated into their Google assets, right? So we are Gmail users. We have the Google suite of things. And because we have the Google suite of things, I have access to Gemini, Gemini Notes, Notebook LM, all of the things that live under the Google umbrella, I have access to now as well. So I think about the world's biggest search engine, Google, now owns an AI platform that we're all heading down a path to AI becoming the search portion of what we do now. Our habits are changing to that now. And if Google owns YouTube and it's tied to Gemini, why would I not be putting my content on YouTube as fast as I can before I put it on any other platform? If we all remember whenever Google bought YouTube, Google started serving up, whenever you would search for something on Google, it would go and grab from YouTube first and serve it up to you and go, here's a video that we found on the same thing that you're asking about. They started serving up their own pie, right? Gemini is going to do the same thing. Gemini is going to do the same thing. So why would you not consider the little red button be the first one that you go to, because of the fact that it is an SEO machine? And then I use another tool every time I post to YouTube for our clients or for ourselves, and it's called vidIQ, VIDIQ. And it's an AI software that sits in my Chrome. And so every time I open up YouTube, it comes through and analyzes all my videos and says, change the subject line of this one, add more stuff right here in the caption of this one. That it gives me a score on my thumbnails. Like that's a 62 score thumbnail. You need to change that one out, and here's why. If we're not looking at these tools to tell us how we could be the best at that, then we're missing the mark. But you're right. On all of those generations, the key component in most of those was video, right? With the younger ones, they grew up with video. If it moves, it's got our attention. And so that's the reason TikTok being so big, because of the video, YouTube being so big. But think about TikTok doesn't have an AI tied to it anywhere that we're all going to use somewhere else as well. So for all of us, boomers, Gen X, millennials, like we should be thinking about how do we get inside the next realm, which is AI search and AI ads that are coming, How do we do that? And right now, the biggest door to kick in right now is YouTube.
And
So
think about that. Think about that,
go
guys.
ahead, John. Go.
Well, I was just going to say, think about what Robin's talking about, right? When we met with Max, right? And
Yeah.
you know, and what we know about AI at this point with the 0-click searches and how it's serving up as a dealer. You want to be served up as a trusted advisor. So the more content you get out there like that, especially from that perspective, right? How much more is it building that trusted advisor platform in the background for you, so
Yeah.
it serves you up as a top dealer? I don't know if it come across. I don't see it on our chat box, but at the bottom it said platform by platform priority. And I don't know if it actually come across, but based on
I
what you
see
guys
it.
have been talking about, I mean, this is so good because Robin was referring to YouTube, right? And listen, Facebook, inventory posts, lead ads, community groups, 35 to 60-year-olds in market buyers, Instagram, reels, walkarounds, lifestyle, 25 to 45-year-old visual buyers, TikTok, humor, education, personality driven, 18 to 35-year-old future buyers. And it breaks down the ages and the social media platform, because I was going to ask Robin about that. I was specifically going to ask about this and her feelings. But listen, when it said YouTube, long walkarounds, how to, test drives, and it doesn't bring up an age group, it says research phase buyers. So to Robin's point, it's for everybody, right? If I'm going to use this, I'm going to build out myself as a trusted advisor. To her point, why wouldn't you be using that, right? Because that's one of the things I was interested in when we got on this with Robin. I just wanted to see my buddy Claude, what he had to say about all this. So that's why I did that and just saw what it spit out. But the thing that jumped off the page at me is that breakdown: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and then YouTube. It was a broad brush, right? Everybody.
So two things. So John, you said the trusted advisor. It's one of the things that whenever we're demoing Social Grenade to dealers, our main goal is always to make your salespeople the trusted advisor in the car buying process. That you're the guy that when my check engine light comes on, I'm not calling the service department. I was taking a picture of it and texting it to you and going, hey, what do you think this is about? And he goes, you know what? I'm going to go check with my service manager right now. I'll get right back with you. That he's my guy. Everybody wants to have a guy. And the trusted advisor in the car buying process is what we set them up to be. So I'm glad you used that phrase. A second thing that I talked to John about the other day was on TikTok. Every person under the age of 30, so we're talking whatever group that is, their number one search engine right now that they use, they don't use Google. They use TikTok for search. That's their number one used search engine under 30. So if they're thinking about going to a restaurant, they're not Googling it. They're not looking for reviews. They're going and watching the videos of the people that went there, that are showing them their food that they ate there, that they tell the experience that they had there. They're on TikTok doing that thing. So one of the things that totally pissed me off with my competitors in this industry, the people who say that they offer social media to their dealerships. And I have someone call me and go, Robin, will you audit our social media? I don't know if what they're doing is working, blah, blah, blah. And I go to Facebook. I always start with their website, and I click through to make sure their social links are on their website. I click through from there. I go back to the website, click to the other one, go back to the website, click to the other one. And when I see the exact same content on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, I'm so mad. I can't even breathe straight, because look at the difference in the audience of the people, right? The people on Instagram, John, you just said it. They're interested in this. This age range is interested in this on Instagram. So why would I put the same damn post on Facebook and copy it over to Instagram? And they're doing it on the same day. They're not even mixing it up. Like on the 1st, it goes here, and on the 15th, it goes to Instagram. It's Facebook. This post goes around. Like literally, they just literally spam the whole internet. Why would people follow me on more than one platform if I'm serving up the same content all the freaking time to every platform?
Great. So
I mean, I'm telling you, all of those companies out there that are getting their services through their OEM because their OEM approved them and they're covering you guys, they're not serving you. They're checking a box and they're cashing your check, and they piss me off.
set it and forget it. Set it and forget it, right? We like you said, serve it up at different times and different content.
Yeah.
But it's easy. It's easy just to have a platform that says set it and forget it, and then I don't have to worry about it. But those are the dealers in every phase, right? We're specifically talking about social media, but every phase, when you look at it, the dealers that set it and forget it, they're losing. So it just all the way around. And I do.
And they're not involved until they have a budget meeting, and then they're looking at everything to the left of a comma and going, who are we going to cut? Because they're not involved in what's going on there. And then they just start cutting and they don't even know.
100%. And dealers,
So,
hey, listen, viewers and listeners, real quick, Chris, I want to highlight what
oh, you're
Robin
fine.
said because we talk about it all the time, and I want to highlight what she said a little bit ago about a trusted advisor. Everybody wants to know somebody that they can go to,
Everybody wants to
and
have a
we are
guy.
so everybody wants to have that guy, and I think salespeople specifically, because I know BD reps, they're doing a lot of work for the salesperson. I think salespeople, and I'll say this until my curmudgeon butt is done, right? Is I think salespeople listen too much to industry talk about how bad our industry is. Right now, we are our own worst enemy, i.e., the video Ronaldo referred to, the comedian that went to try to buy a car in Frisco, Texas, and put it out there and had millions of views. And yeah, so we are our own worst enemy sometimes. But guys and gals that are selling cars at dealerships, stop listening to what people say about you and be that trusted advisor.
Please.
Don't shrink back from it. Walk into it and say, I'm going to be different, and this is how I can do it. And Robin's giving you some great ways to do that, to build yourself as a trusted advisor.
And it takes so much more work to be less than mediocre. You might as well put the effort in. And Robin, you're going through, talking about putting content together for these different platforms. It's just, it isn't going to require another 40 hours a week
No.
in order to put that together. Tell us exactly how you advise your dealers to kind of start to put together, different schedules and different approaches for the different platforms out there.
Chris, did you have something to pipe in before I rant again?
Real quick, because listeners and viewers, John and Ronaldo,
We won't get to it.
well, you guys know I do this all the time when we start talking about that other generation. Immediately, first thing I do is me and my wife are on a group thread with our son and our daughter-in-law. And immediately I just went to that thread and I typed in, do you kids use TikTok to look up places to go eat, experiences, or go shopping? In less than 60 seconds, one word came back. Now, let me qualify the age of my son and my daughter-in-law. They're Gen Z. They're 22 years old. In less than 60 seconds, one word. Absolutely. Then my wife, who is the millennial, she pops in. I do too. TikTok. Who would have thought?
Yeah. I tested one time. I was in nowhere, Georgia, doing a training for a dealership in a town of 3,200 people, right? And so we're like, person that was with me that was training on TikTok, because he knows more about TikTok than I do, he was saying that same thing. And I'm like, I've never done that ever. And so we tested it because we were all going to dinner that night. We tested like, okay, let's go to TikTok and see where we should eat dinner. I'm telling you right now, I still think about that restaurant because it's the best food I've had in so long. But I'll tell you, like it didn't take us 5 videos to understand that this was where we were eating dinner, because they showed us the experience. They showed us inside. They read the menu to us. They literally told us what they had and how great it was. And it was like if my neighbor was sitting right there telling me, I'm telling you, go to this restaurant. You're not going to regret it. And so that was so powerful. And I tell you, those fried green tomatoes we had there were the best things I've ever eaten in my life.
Gosh, I thought TikTok was a breath mint.
So
That's something I got to do. Yeah.
Hey, Ronaldo, to your point, I'm sorry, Chris, but to your point,
no, go ahead.
I'm sitting here and I'm gonna embarrassingly admit I don't have TikTok loaded on my phone. I don't either. That's just my age group, right? I go to certain areas and look for things, but I don't. And so this is opening up my eyes this morning because I go to Google reviews, right? That's where I go. I'll review stuff that way. But just to think about it, right, from a perspective, and Robin mentioned it earlier, right? Man, if I did show a video of what happens up at the sales desk, so people can see that guy's not going up there to try to talk about how they're going to rob me. They're going up there working on how they can best serve me as a customer, right? And I never even thought about that because nobody knows what happens up there unless you show it to them, right? Yeah. And the perception is exactly what Robin said. They're going up there talking about how they can get more in my pocket, right?
I mean, I even think about one of the greatest videos that taught me something, right? Because the cabin air filter, right? First of all, I didn't even know I had one. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know I had a cabin air filter. And so then, I mean, this was earlier in life. And then once I did know I had one, I think every time I go, someone's like going, well, we think that your cabin air filter is a little bit dirty and blah, 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 blah. And so I didn't know where to find it, to be honest. I didn't know where to find it. And I wasn't that interested in finding out where to find it, to find out if they were bullshitting me or not, or if I could just whack it and knock it out myself. And so then I saw this video that this guy did. He literally showed you where it was at. See these little
In the
things?
glove box.
See these little things on your glove box? Release those things, pull that thing down, pull it out. That's right here. You can pull it out. And I'm like, I mean, and I learned something today now that gave me more control of my life, I felt like, because now I've got the power to look at it myself and go, hey, I think I need a new air cap. Like my AC is not, my fan isn't blowing hard enough, whatever. The reasons why I need to change it that nobody else ever told me. Even how many times, think how old I am. Think how many times I've had my freaking car service and nobody told me why I needed to change it. You know, other than, oh my God, it looks like it has half a cat stuck in there, blah, blah, blah. So I think about those things.
That's great stuff. Yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah. But you brought up a great point earlier is that, and I'm constantly talking to my guys about taking off your car guy hat and thinking about things from a consumer's perspective.
Right.
And it just, we get so removed because of the assumptions that we make.
And if you think about it like this, if you think about it, if you're a car guy, let's say you're a guy, right? And you're like, wonder what my aunt knows about vehicles and what she doesn't know. What video could I make today that my aunt would probably learn something from it? Instead of just assuming, you would never assume that your aunt knows all of this stuff, right? But you assume the general public, which is this gray matter out here, they know everything. But does your aunt know it? And if your aunt doesn't, then all the people hang out with her don't. And then probably 75,000 other people don't. And so that's why it's important to even to recreate content that you've made 3 or 6 months ago. If you did a piece on gap insurance, and if today I had 2,000 followers and my average views on something I put out is, let's say 400 people, that's my average of what it gets into. Okay. So then we know if I had, did I say 2,000? So if I said 2,000 followers, then we have 1,600 people who didn't see that content, that never saw it, right? And so if I put that content back out again in 3 months, besides the fact that hopefully I have more followers in 3 months, but also maybe I'm going to hit some more of those people that I didn't hit the first time. So don't be afraid to duplicate valuable evergreen content and keep it out there. But Ronaldo, to your point, like what should a dealer start to do? They probably first need to start taking, I would probably have a meeting with all my salespeople and all my service people and go, what are the pain points? What are the things that people are the most mad about or that don't understand or they're the most unclear about? And then start working on what content can we create that will shine a light on these things, that will be educating the consumer on a couple of other things. And can we make it funny? Can we make it, entertaining at all? It's not always important that you be funny, but every once in a while those will take off and just do crazy things for you. But really, like I said in the beginning, if you'll start with the pain points and be educating people, and then you can start working into the creative stuff. And then you can go, I mean, if you think about someone my age or older that maybe doesn't buy a car every 5 years, the tech changes so much in that 5-year span. Why are you not, you want to know how I learned about lane assist? I had rented a car in Los Angeles and I'm driving down the freeway and I'm trying to change lanes and I didn't put my blinker on. And I thought my steering wheel was frozen up, right? Because it wasn't going to turn. I'm like, what is going on? That's how I learned about lane assist, right?
Oh, yeah.
Why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we talking about predictive cruise? Any of those safety features, things that come, because people have them and your salesperson, he may have been there 3 months and he doesn't even know how to demonstrate it to you. And so those things right there alone, if you think about how fast tech changes, and my generation didn't grow up with techs, like we were excited when we got power brakes. You know what I'm saying? We did this to get our air conditioning to work. We rolled that window all the way down. We cranked it down.
260 air, girl.
Right. That's right. That's right. And so, so there's just so many things that there's so much content to be made other than the happy customer photo or the inventory picture that they didn't even pull out of the slot. They didn't even pull it out. They didn't even butterfly it. They didn't do anything. They just went, hey, here's car we got for the day. I liken it to this. Like almost every city has a Martin Luther King Boulevard, right? All the big cities have Martin Luther King Boulevard. And I think about what most dealerships do like this. So let's say it's MLK Day and they're having a big parade and everything's going on. And at the back of the parade, there's some guy driving a Nissan Sentra and he's got his windows rolled down and he's just yelling at all of these people Nissan Sentra for $199 a month, $199 a month. He's just yelling at these people, and he don't know whether their family will fit in a Nissan Sentra, whether they even like Nissans, whether they could even drive. Do they have a driver's license? And that's what they're doing when they just post a freaking vehicle online. They're not developing an audience for that vehicle. They're not creating a tribe of people. They're like literally, it's just like they're screaming out the window, driving down the road about their Nissan Sentra for $199 a month. It's so stupid. And so I teach something that's kind of advanced user. Like, so what we do for salespeople. So let's say Chris was selling cars, and I don't know, do any of you guys have tattoos? I don't know.
Plenty.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's say that I'm wanting to develop a tribe for Chris, right? And and I've tested this on several salespeople, right? And I go, okay, Chris, you're going to take a picture of your favorite tattoo and you're going to post it online, and you're going to put on a caption on there that says, show me your ink. I'm thinking about getting my next tattoo. I don't know what I want. So drop me a picture of your tattoo and tag your tattoo artist in this post, because I'm really considering getting my next one. I don't know what I want yet. Okay. You are developing a tribe of people that are all getting sucked into your vortex, right? First of all, tattoos are very mainstream now anyways, but you're getting a tribe of people that are commenting, dropping their pictures, tagging their tattoo guy. I mean, the social media reach on it is stupid crazy on a post like that, right? And at the end of the day, I would tell you, go look at those people and decide who they are as a car buyer. Like, what is the majority of them as a car buyer? I think these people drive this type of a car, because you've already sucked them into your vortex, and now you own them for about 36 hours, because the next thing you post, they're going to get. So now I'm going to tell you, post the vehicle that you think the majority of these people would be interested in, and then go, you know what? This just hit, the fresh trade just came in. It's low miles. It's clean. I would drive it myself while I'm going to get my tattoo if I was going to do that thing. But how much do you guys think a monthly payment for this thing should run? And you're going to ask them a question again. Drop your number down below. And I'm telling you, it works every freaking time, because you're actually intelligently curating an audience for right now. And you can do the same thing with hunters, right? How about the only time rednecks take a selfie every damn year is when they kill that deer, and they got them and that bloody horns, all of this shit right there is the one time a year when these guys take a selfie every freaking year, right? So I would do the same thing. I would be like, okay, I know deer season's over and we're all missing it. We're looking forward to what next year's going to bring. And I'd post a picture of my dead deer head, and I would go, drop me your pictures below and tell me where you got it. How many days were you hunting? Blah, 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 blah. Drop everything down below, right? And then tomorrow, I'm posting a picture of a big ass ram and go, hey, your deer called, and he said he wants to ride home in this next year, right? And so now I'm not driving down the street screaming into the wilderness, a Nissan Sentra, $199 a month. I've created an audience into my vortex, and then I've given them the thing that I know they should be interested in.
Do you see this huge light bulb going off on the top of my head? I just figured out why you call it social grenade.
Yes, it's a bomb.
Because you are blowing shit up. Just pulling pins and tossing.
So every
Goodness.
vehicle post should be thought about in two posts. Who would buy this vehicle? Okay, I mean, every car has a story behind it. Okay, let's think. This one's my favorite. This is my favorite example, right? So John's old enough, I'm old enough to remember back when Subaru had first the Brat. That is Subaru Brat.
Oh,
And
I
then
remember the Brat.
The Subaru Brat got renamed the Subaru Baja. Okay. And when I was 17, I wanted a Subaru Brat so bad. It was red, had white rally stripes, had little white seats in the pickup bed. I wanted one so bad. They're 4-wheel drive. I wanted one. And then they did away with it. They brought the Baja back. And for a time, I wanted to buy them. They quit making those again. And they're like gold right now. They're like trying to buy an FJ Cruiser right now if you want one. It's crazy, right? So now here comes Hyundai rolling out a Santa Cruz, right? And I don't care what anybody says. That is the perfect fucking boomer vehicle. Perfect, right? They're not going off-roading. They're not building a house. They really need something they can get in and out of, because getting in and out of cars becomes a thing once you're over 60. Like, can I get, is it too high? Is it too low? Can I get in? It's a boomer vehicle. It just 100% is, right? It's got the little tonneau cover to cover it up in case you go to a yard sale and find that perfect little base you need to haul, and you can lock it up and still go to Target. I mean, it's the perfect boomer vehicle, right? And so if I were selling Hyundais, I would curate an entire boomer thread one day. It may be a glass full of cornbread, and I'm just going to pour milk into it. And I'm going to sit there and eat this cornbread and milk out of it, because that's a boomer thing to do. Or a bottle of Pepsi, a glass bottle of Pepsi with some peanuts in it, right? And I would go, you know, you may not be a boomer, but I need you to ask your mom, your aunt, your grandma, what are some things that boomers did that we don't do now that we've all forgotten, and come back and tell me. And then once that happens, the boomers start coming in. They're like, I drank the water out of the garden hose. We didn't have slip and slide. We used trash bags. I mean, they're going to do all of the things, right? And then tomorrow, I'm going to have a picture of an elderly woman at a yard sale loading up her shit in her Santa Cruz. Everything should be a 2-step. Suck them in. Don't just post a vehicle and you don't know who's in it.
Wow. Shit. That's not a grenade. That is a laser from a drone, and you're just picking them off left and right. That's great stuff.
So that's how automotive social should be done.
So you said something to me the other day. You said you used the terminology and I loved it. And I wanted you to elaborate a little bit in the unfortunate short amount of time we have left.
Brett can
You said
edit
two
us down.
things.
Brett can edit us down. We can talk.
I know. And actually, no, Brett, don't edit us down. But you said something, and to me, you said two different things, but I tied them together. You used the terminology vanity metrics, and then you talked about measuring the non-followers.
Yep.
Why is that important in terms of like this bullshit vanity metrics we look at, and then measuring the non-followers against your followers? Unpack that some for us.
Sure. So the vanity metrics that we're used to chasing are how many likes did we get? How many followers do we have? And if you think about consumer behavior now, we're chasing the wrong thing, because I consume a lot of content from people that I don't follow, that I haven't clicked the follow button on, right? And so in the past, we'll talk about Facebook for a second. Facebook's algorithm was, if you did this thing and this thing, then that stuff would pull into your newsfeed. If you followed the page and you liked their stuff, then you would get their content, right? And so TikTok's algorithm has always been interest-based. And if you don't believe it, go and slow down. You don't need following anybody. Go and slow down on one of those. I did this. This is why I'm telling you this. On one of those 911, what's your emergency? And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this whole video because I want to get to the end of it. I don't know, did the people live? Did somebody die? Like I'm watching, I'm listening to the whole stupid thing, right? So the next day I get on TikTok and it's all it is catastrophes. My daughter killed herself. All of this stuff is like, that's what my algorithm is. They filled it up with what they thought I was interested in. And I'm like, I'm not interested in it. I was just interested in that one. So you know what I did? I went and looked up wiener dog videos, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, give me wiener dog videos because I don't want any of this crap in here. And so I had never followed that 911, what's your emergency page, but they filled it. They watched what I did. How long did I watch? Did I do anything while I was in there? Did I stop it? Did I click like on anything? And then they said, this is what she's told us that she likes. So that's called an interest-based algorithm. Facebook has switched to an interest-based algorithm. So now you'll see that you're getting, and you have the ability to curate your feed however you want on any of these platforms by what you choose to consume and how long you consume it. So now that you'll see, like if I go to, let's see, I was looking for something recently, NAD+, right? I'm looking for some NAD+. I don't like the oral stuff. I'm looking for like either an injectable or they got a new nasal spray one, whatever. And so now my entire feed is full of all of the things about NAD+, right? Because I slowed down on something and watched a video about that. I'm telling you this because follows don't matter. I'm not following any of those pages, but I'm consuming their content. And so because I'm consuming their content and it's an interest-based algorithm, they're going to keep shoving them into my timeline, into my newsfeed. So that's why you shouldn't care about the vanity metrics. What you should be caring about is when you post content, who's seeing your stuff. And so that goes back to your insights and your professional dashboard on whatever platform that you're on. And I'm maxed out on my personal profile. I'm maxed out on my friends, right? So if now they want to be a friend of mine and I don't have room for them, they just become a follower. So now when I post something, I get to the end of the month and I go and look and go, how far did my reach go? So if I have 5,000 friends and 7,000 followers, whatever it is, I don't care about them a whole lot. Like I'm following them for a reason because I'm interested in their stuff. What I'm looking to see is of the people that are following me, am I making it beyond them? Am I making it beyond them? So if we'll say this circle is all of my followers, friends, whatever, I'm looking for these people out here. I'm looking for the people that are connected to these people, right? Because I can still do business with them, but I got to get to them first. And so getting to them means, did I have enough engaging content that the minute that Ronaldo stopped and liked something that I had, or stopped and watched a video, or stopped and read a post that I had made, Facebook start looking for people that are connected to Ronaldo, that have shown history in the past to like a post like this, and then they push it out to those people that Ronaldo knows, right? Once those people that have pushed out to Ronaldo, they're going to go, okay, let's find all of the people like these people because if they liked it and his friends liked it, they're showing interest in it right now, then these people out here in the world will like it too, because they've shown all the same interest that Ronaldo and his connections do. And that's how a post goes viral. And one of the things that's, this is a tip I'm just going to throw in here right now. One of the things that's so important when you make a post and you start getting engagement back on it, people are commenting, people are liking it. It is important that as fast as you can, you reply back to every comment. Facebook does not know the difference. So let's say that I made a post, a tattoo post. Let's go back to that. And somebody drops a picture of the tattoo and they're like, this guy right here does the best work, whatever. And you're like, oh, Chris has to respond. Oh man, I love that one. That's cool. Next tattoo down. He's commenting back to them again. So let's say we got 20 comments on his tattoo post and he replies back to all of them. Now, every platform has number metrics where they push it out to the next level. Okay. Every platform does. TikTok does. All of them do. So let's say that at 20 comments, now this post goes, Facebook's looking at it and they go, I wonder if these people will like it. Let's push it out here. And then there's triggers. Every couple of, for Facebook is like in the 20s, right? So if 20 people liked it, we're going to push it out to these 80. These 80 liked it, we're going to push it out to these 300. That's how Facebook works, right? So on Facebook, they don't know the difference between your comment, Chris, back to this person and the comment right there. They just see the activity, right? So if 20 people comment and you reply back to each one of them pretty quick, as much as you can, quickly back to them again.
That's 40 comments.
Yeah, 40 comments. That's all the number that they read. So going viral has to do with as much engagement and as fast as you can, because they're looking for it to take legs really fast. They keep people on the platform. TikTok, the number is your video first goes out. They call it being in 300 view jail. Your TikTok goes out to 300 people first. That's how much they serve. Your first video will go out 300 people. And then if 300 people start engaging with it, then it goes out to 1,000. And then it goes out. Like they all have numbers, benchmarks that they push it out further out.
Wow. That's great. Great info.
My gosh, that is you got my brain just tied up in a pretzel right now.
Yeah, but think about the fact that I didn't know where my cabin air filter was till a couple of months ago. So
for real.
Goodness gracious.
Okay, so last question here. Okay, we briefly talked about it the other day, and this is something that I'm pretty passionate about. And it really ties back into your cabin air filter. But I had shared with you that, when I get the opportunity to meet with our dealer partners and social media comes up, one of the number one things I tell them is you got to manage your YouTube channel. And if you don't have one, you need to create one, because you're spending all this money on third party, and those third party has all those Google spiders living in it. And if you put all this video and content out there on your third party and on your website, you need to put it inside the Google or the YouTube as well, because it all just builds huge relevancy for your dealership, or you as an individual. If a salesperson or BDC rep is listening in on this podcast today. But then I took that same mentality and I asked you the question about cataloging or having videos. And I know we've briefly touched it, but I want you to share in our final moments today. I want you to share the importance of having those how-to videos, and not just, we have a tire special, buy 3, get 1 free. We have $50,000 off in rebates right now. From a sales vantage point, because you talked about that technology and how it's ever changing, and to the defense of the salespeople out there, you probably did show them what the lane assist was, but they're so overwhelmed with life and everything in general, they forgot about it about 32.6 seconds after you told them about it. How important is the cabin air filter video? How important is the how-tos with the new technology, or checking your oil, or the translucent containers, all of these things that are out there for sales and service? How important is it to have those cataloged, living, breathing, and dying inside your YouTube channel, your social media channels? How important is that?
So it is. So I don't know. I think how do I, or how to is the most searched phrase, like on YouTube, right? How-to videos. And so anytime that you have those, and so as a dealership, I would always advise them have a playlist of how-tos, right? So you can create your playlist inside of YouTube, and this playlist in here has all of our how-tos, right? And so make sure that how to is in the title and how to is in the description of it. And then that it's very, like, if I'm searching for how to find my cabin air filter, it's going to pull that up, right? So once again, if we go back to having the conversations about the customer pain points or the customer ignorance points, right? Things that we don't know. Those are the things that people are actually Googling, right? So I would start with a meeting with my sales and service team and go, what are the things that you're getting calls about that people don't understand? Here's our top 10 list of things that we're going to create content about right off the bat. We're going to put them into the how-to playlist on our dealership's YouTube channel. And the cool thing about this is that resource lives right there, right? So when a customer calls one of your salespeople and says, hey, my Apple CarPlay isn't working right now, and I have an iPhone, blah, blah, blah. You can go, you know what? Hang on a second. We did a video on this. I'm going to send this. See if this helps you first. And if it doesn't, then you bring it up here. And they go and grab that YouTube video. It's an asset that's already there for them to use, and they can send it to their customers. And now they've got the how to fix your CarPlay right now. Like your Apple CarPlay is already set up in this right here, and or Google, whatever. And so having those assets, one for your salespeople, because they may be 2 months into the business, never even sold a car in their life, and they can go learn from them themselves. It's a catalog for your salespeople to learn. And it's one of those things where you don't have to look like you're stupid all the time. You have the asset, the resource library to send to your customers as well. And you're also in the Google world, right? Now all of those words are out there to be crawled. The crawlers can find them, the spiders can find them, all of these words that lead back to here. You'll be one of the ones, if you're sending it to your customers on a regular basis and it's getting viewed on a regular basis because your salespeople are doing it right, then when it gets ready to get served up because somebody said, how do I change my own cabin air filter? That video comes up right off the bat first because it's the one that's been seen and used the most out in the atmosphere out here that we all live in, the ether.
Okay, so one last final thing to that, because now I told you this is what happens, Robin, is our brains start going 100 miles an hour. I do have a question, and unfortunately we have to wrap, but I do have a question though. When you're sharing that content, okay, is there more benefit to using that share button from your YouTube page, or is it okay just to copy the link and send it to them?
So a couple of things, and this is just the platforms wanting you to stay on their platform. So it's easier to put the link to YouTube over there and to drive them back out to there. That's the easiest thing to do. However, Facebook will squash your reach because you're taking them off their platform, right? So it's easier if you're going to post a video that you want to be on Facebook as well as YouTube, and I know it seems like double the work, but post it natively to every platform because Facebook will give you more reach because you're not asking them to click this button and leave their platform, which they would be if you brought the YouTube link over. Does that make sense?
So you're saying that how-to playlist should live in each one of your social media platforms.
It can, because you can create albums in Facebook as well.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Oh my gosh, John, I mean, you put it in the chat just now, and I'm going to read it verbatim if you don't mind. John,
He's not listening.
No, he's listening. Trust me. He's a curmudgeon. He's
taking notes, man. I'm trying to catch up with all this stuff, man. This has been amazing, Robin. I mean, amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh,
So John's exact words verbatim. This just might be the most informative and dynamic podcast session we've done. I wouldn't disagree with you at all.
Yeah.
Listeners and viewers, lottalkpodcast.com. You are going to want to share this episode. You're going to want to come back and watch it again. And I hope you're like all of us here. We have got a gajillion notes. I hope you got them. And if you missed something, go to our YouTube channel. The Lot Talk Podcast has a YouTube channel. You will find this episode there, and you will absolutely positively be able to rewind. And where did Robin go off about this? Where did Chris go off about that? Where did John start getting on to Chris for saying this? You know, where did I? Right there at our YouTube channel, you'll be able to find this episode. Listeners and viewers, I agree with John 1,000,000%. This is the most informative and dynamic podcast that we have had in a very, very long time, if not ever. John, you're
I'm
going to say
sa-
something real
I'm,
quick?
well, I'm just saying it's been awesome, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna get copies, and I'm sending it to all my dealers. Man, they need to watch it. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking I'm gonna talk about all this stuff. Hell with that. I'm just gonna send a copy of it and let them watch it. Man, they need to hear this stuff. Man, this will absolutely change the game at your store. And if you're uncomfortable, if you're if you're telling boy, I hate to even bring this up, but if you're thinking in your mind, I can't get my people to do that, reach out to Robin and get her on the phone and have a conversation with her, have a video meeting with her. Listen, there's never been a time that I've gone to Robin. It hadn't been a ton, but I have. When she's been in our office and stuff, never been a time I've approached her about something and asked her a question that she was more than happy to help. Right. And that's the type of people we want to be in connection with. And that's why, Chris, that was an awesome, I think we all, the last time we were talking about, from a social media standpoint, who do we think about that we'd want to bring in? And everybody's like Robin. Right. So
Robin. That was the
so
first
man,
one we thought of.
reach out to Robin.
G-Rob.
Social grenade.
G-Rob.
Social G-Rob. G-Rob.
Well, I'm
So
flattered, and I
lit-
really feel like evangelist, right? Like I'm an evangelist, and this is my sermon, and I know that and it's the F word, right? It's free. Social media is free. Why not use it?
So listeners and viewers, go to lottalkpodcast.com and we will have Robin's information up there so you could reach out directly to her. We highly, highly encourage you enlist her for her services. She will turn your store and each individual into social media ninjas, and it will absolutely positively improve your overall footprint in your market to be that trusted advisor that we have been talking about. This is her website right here. I've got it on the screen for you viewers, but for you listeners, it is socialclimberpro.com. Socialclimberpro.com. If you go to our Facebook, our YouTube page, if you go to lottalkpodcast.com under the resources, you will find Robin's information there, a contact phone number, an email for her, and of course her website. Please take advantage of this opportunity to position yourself as a social media expert and, most importantly, a true trusted advisor in this industry. Robin, we thank you on behalf of John, on behalf of Ronaldo, Brett, our Lot Pop family,
Absolutely.
all of our listeners and viewers. We thank you so much for coming in, spending this time with us. And I can't even recap everything because there's so much to recap. That's why I'm imploring every last one of y'all, go to Lot Talk Podcast, our YouTube page, go to our website, look up Robin. You'll get the best recap from her. Okay. But we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you
So
for
welcome.
spending that time with us. But most importantly, viewers and listeners, we thank you for tuning in. Until next week, we will catch you again. Same bat time, same bat channel. And as always, we wish you all nothing but success. We out.